Hello everybody, and welcome to my first ranking tier list on my channel. I decided to rank the various Goku versions on my tier list, but this is only going to be a part 1 because, well, this is only ranking the most modern version of Goku that people scale. And speaking of, where I rank him is going to be based on his scaling, not in terms of favorites. And I'm making this video specifically because people still think that Goku's power is only somehow 4th dimensional and below, for some odd fucking reason. It's almost like a narrative at this point or something, since he beats some of your favorite characters. But I digress. And if you think I'm talking about you, that's too bad. Also, later in this video, I'm going to be joined by a special guest you all may or may not know. So let's begin, shall we? Okay, so to absolutely nobody's shock and surprise is going to be Goku from the live action film, Dragon Ball Evolution, which massively stinks. But I'm going to give this version some proper dues, even though I don't want to. And the most impressive feat was that he was able to defeat Piccolo with his Ozaru power. And in that same vision, Piccolo was able to possibly destroy or dwarf the size of an entire country, which was calculated to be around country level ranges. And as for speed, he's around supersonic to possibly massively hypersonic if you don't really want to push it with the ranges of speed, as he dodged Bulma's gun without even noticing. And when Bulma thought she could have killed him, Goku had something to say about that.
I could have killed you. Oh, you weren't even close.
Now for our next contender on our list, it's the series that started everything, the original Dragon Ball series. And before I continue, I'll be using both manga and anime adaptations moving forward, so I can cram in both of their scaling. Now let's get on with it. Kid Goku, under a power of 180, scales to and above Roshi, who destroyed the entire moon, which is at the very least moon level, and all the way up into the large planetary ranges. And I can get Kid Goku's AP even higher, as Shenron recreated the moon, as his calc can get into the Dwarf Star Plus levels of power. As for his speed, Kid Goku dodges lasers casually and even dodges beams of light, which gets this at the very least relativistic and all the way up into the FTL ranges. Now we're already starting to get into even much stronger levels of power on the food chain. And this one is from Goku for Dragon Ball Z. In the Saiyan Saga, he's at least high into large planet to dwarf star in the manga as Goku gets stronger via multipliers. As for the anime, Vegeta blows up planet Auralia, which gets into at least star and to possibly large star levels of power. And Goku scales to him and the multipliers get him much higher. And as for speed, Goku is obviously much faster than light via multipliers, and the stronger you are, the faster you'll get as well. So there's that. And now for the Namek Saga in the manga. Goku gets much stronger as he scales above First Form Frieza, who casually destroys planet Vegeta, which gets into the small star levels of power. And Goku is much stronger than that, as when he used Kaioken times 10 against Final Form Frieza, which we could take 15 quintatons and we multiply that by 10 and we get around 150 quintatons, which gets into the star levels of attack power. And with Kaioken times 20, we multiply 150 quintatons by 20 and we get into the folds, which can get into large star levels of attack power. And when Goku goes into Super Saiyan, he gets much stronger into large star, if not downright solar system if you want to go there. And to back that up, Frieza, while using 50% of his power, destroyed Namek, as my friend Christian Kember got this into the solar system levels of attack potency. The anime has the same multipliers but much stronger scaling, as in the anime, First Form Frieza destroys planet Vegeta, which casually gets into the large star levels of power. And Goku gets much stronger than this, as in Super Saiyan he's much stronger than Final Form Frieza, who destroyed Namek, which gets at least multi-solar system level plus, and all the way up to the galaxy levels of attack power, as the explosion of Namek spreads across the entire galaxy. Oh, and I'm not even finished yet, because in the anime after the Namek Saga and right before the Cell Saga, Garlic Jr. returns as he was going to destroy the Heavenly Realms with his raw power, and these same realms have calcs to have multi-solar system levels of power easily. And if you want to get a bit higher, and I know some of you guys will question this, but you can actually get Namek Saga Goku to high universal to universal plus, if not much higher, as Frieza was said to threaten the entire universe, which contains a space-time and is also stated to be infinite on multiple occasions. As God Jr., as I mentioned prior, creates and opens the Dead Zone, as it states in Daizenshu, and the definition of hyperspace is a space which holds more than 3 dimensions, which tells us that the Dead Zone is at the very least 4th dimensional. And there's another Japanese statement which translates this as it's also called a superspace. And a superspace is a concept of space-time in which points are defined by more than 4 coordinates. And this also goes on to say a space of infinitely many dimensions postulated to contain actual space-time in all possible spaces. So at the bare minimum, this can be scaled to infinite 4th dimensional, aka multiversal plus. And we are still in Dragon Ball Z, which is crazy to think about, right? But some people have many problems with Namek Saga being this high since Frieza was threatening to destroy the universe, meaning it's most likely over time, which we can't really use that kind of scaling. Especially in the manga, as Goku states the universe will be in danger, which is argued to be also over time. And Goku is gathering energy of all life forms and planets around Namek, not the entire universe. But if we want to be safe here, Goku in the Namek Saga for the anime is at the very least multi-solar system to the galactic levels of power for consistency. Now we move on to the Cell Saga, as Super Saiyan Trunks in both anime and manga literally cut Mecha Frieza in half, as the manga doesn't say much, but in the anime his supernova is 10 times more powerful than he was on Namek, and Trunks was literally unfazed by this. And when he fought Goku in Super Saiyan was treating Trunks' sword like a toy, with one finger by the way. Now let's just skip over the androids and the 2 weaker transformations of Cell and the different grades of Super Saiyan as we get into Super Perfect Cell, as he gets a Super Saiyan 2 multiplier. As Cell states in the manga, he's going to destroy the entire solar system, as to which yields at the very least that set of power. But you can use multipliers off of this, as you can get this at least into multi-solar system. You can argue this to be higher since in the Daisenshu 7, which is stated to be a galactic nebulae, so Cell can also be in the galactic and possibly the multi-galactic ranges. There is a better high-end argument for Cell for the manga, as Android 16 states that if Cell evolves into his perfect form, he's going to destroy the entire universe, which bumps Cell into those high universal to universe plus levels of power. The anime has the same scaling but much more powerful, as Super Perfect Cell is stated to have verbatim infinite power, while having multiple universe destroying statements, and Cell also says that he will end everything. And to back this up, it's stated multiple times that power levels beyond the Frieza Saga can't be measured, so there you go. Now we move on to the Buu Saga, as Goku's gotten much stronger, as he's stronger than Dabura in Super Saiyan 2 Gohan, as Dabura is at least relative to Super Perfect Cell, and Gohan was slacking off in the times of peace. And that same Dabura was quickly made a joke of by Fat Buu, which already gets him into the 4th dimensional levels of power already. And Goku in Super Saiyan 3 was able to keep up with Fat Buu, and even at the end of the Buu Saga, Goku was trading blows with Kid Buu, who stated to end up destroying the entirety of the living world. Kid Buu was going to destroy Grand Kai's world in heaven, which is a portion of the afterlife, as it's stated to be about as wide as the universe, which adds on another fee for consistent 4D scaling for Kid Buu. Buu was going to destroy the living world by collapsing alternate dimensions on top of it with his power, when he was getting angry, of course. Dende and Vegito confirmed that's the case, and I won't be trying to get into the semantics of Kid Buu versus Buuhan for the anime, as they both have statements to be the strongest Buus. The manga is obviously clear cut, as Buuhan is undoubtedly the strongest Buu. And lastly, Goku was able to ultimately defeat Kid Buu with his Spirit Bomb, because he got a key all over the entire macrocosm, from the entire living world and even the afterlife. Even though the people in the afterlife don't scale to the cosmology, I won't be using that. And he had to be healed by Shenron's wish just for Goku to be able to kill him. The manga, however, doesn't have any sort of crazy heaven and afterlife scaling or any Buuhans alternate dimensional collapsing or any of the sort. They just have regular destroying infinite universal statements. As for speed, Goku in Dragon Ball Z is at the very least massively faster than light, plus because he can react to things in space and Kenkai backs the substance. Namek is on another quadrant as Goku and Frieza were fighting and even he couldn't keep track, which gets this into the trillions of times faster than light, and the multipliers makes it even worse. There's an even higher speed meta for Z as they can get into the infinite amounts of speed since Goku is stronger than Cell to Buu Saga characters, who can at the very least destroy the universe and the entire living world, which has multiple statements of being infinite, and the more powerful you get, the faster you are as well, so that's impressive. Now, since we're done with that, my next entry on this list is going to be Goku from Dragon Ball Daima. Goku at the beginning of the series is stated to be the strongest, meaning he surpassed Ultimate Gohan, Buu-Tanks, Go-Tanks, and etc. When he and his friends got turned to kids, it's stated that they've gotten weaker several times. So I don't want to hear it, Daima fans. Also, I place this Goku low on the list because Daima is canon to the manga and has no real connections to the anime whatsoever. Mini Goku defeats Tamagami 3, who stated that not even Dabur was able to beat him, and Dabur was comparable to Super Perfect Cell calibers of power. So right now, Daima is around multi-solar system all the way up to Universal Plus, which is still impressive overall. And then we get into the final battle with Goma, who has a third eye, which stated that it's the ultimate power and is unrivaled, as Goma was beating up a nerfed Mini Vegeta Super Saiyan 3 and Mini Goku Super Saiyan 4. And when they changed back into adults, Vegeta was doing a much better job at beating Goma than Goku did as a Super Saiyan 4 when he was Mini. The only reason why Vegeta couldn't beat him was that his stamina, along with everyone else's, was heavily drained. And this includes Super Saiyan 4 Goku as well, since he drilled his Kamehameha through Goma's chest and simultaneously affected all 3 worlds in the Daima realm, and his speed is exactly the same as a manga. The next version of Goku we're going to go over is the movie variant of Dragon Ball Z, cause oh boy, he's kinda busted. He's defeated beings like Metacooler, who's said to have an infinite power engine. He's defeated Broly, which Goku gained 1,000 times strength increase, as to which Broly easily destroyed the South Galaxy, which has multiple innumerable amounts of galaxies, and it's infinite as well, which at very least a bare minimum is multi-galactic and all the way up to high universal levels of power. He also has a statement of destroying the infinite universe as well, so that gets him into those 4th dimensional levels of power. And in every movie outside of Wrath of Dragon, every villain is stronger than the last. Now the big boy of the Z movies is Janemba himself, and he's stated to be the strongest enemy since Majin Buu. And Goku in this movie, while transforming, was able to shake the entire afterlife, which is said to be a blatant higher dimensional plane of existence and also transcending all dimensions known to man, which gets us at the multiversal levels of power and possibly up to 5th dimensional, as areas of the afterlife were also said to be extra dimensional, which backs this up. And to add more backup, Janemba's punches and kicks were said beyond time and space, so that's more consistent 5D scaling. And if you want to argue Kid Buu, Wuhan, and Janemba are relevant, Goku even states that Janemba could annihilate the entire universe if he so chose. And when he and Vegeta fused into Gogeta, his power, while existing, was compared to that of a Big Bang. Crazy stuff. In the speed department, Goku is consistently immeasurable as he and Metacooler are fighting in the subspace, which in turn transcends time itself. And furthermore, Goku's ki was shaking the entire afterlife, which again has no concepts of time or space. So let's move on to the bigger boys on this list. Our runner-up entry for this one is Goku from Dragon Ball GT. GT Goku is very underrated, as in the very beginning of the series, he trades blows with Oob, who's said to be a reincarnation of King Buu, as you can watch my Dragon Ball GT video on where I have GT Goku at. And also the Z movies are canon to GT, don't cope about it. He defeats General Rildo, who is said to be stronger than any form of Buu, when Goku transforms into Super Saiyan 4, as he defeats Baby, who states that he never felt energy as awesome as this, as this makes Baby stronger than Super Vegito, and that same Baby whose revenge Death Ball is able to interfere between life and death, which distorts the fabric of time and space, as this results Goku stuck in a dimension called Sugoroku space. And base GT Goku absolutely destroys it with a Kamehameha. This is part of the subspace, which states that there's no time or space. So you can argue base GT Goku to be at the very least 4th to possibly 5th dimensional. and Goku was able to defeat Omega Shenron, who was going to lay waste to the entire macrocosm, since the Kais were said to destroy the Kaioshin realm, which is the side of the macrocosm as well. And to back this up, Pan states that Goku at the end of the series is like a god, as the writers state that Goku was sent to a higher plane of existence, as the eternal guardian of the Dragon Balls and everything they represent. At the end of the series, Goku is inherently a higher dimensional being, which gives Goku at the least 5th dimensional and even up to 6th dimensional levels of power. For the speed department, he's even higher into these dimensional levels of speed. I've already said the movies are canon and he's much stronger than them. He also destroyed the part of the subspace called Sugaruka space, which again has no concept of time or space. So that's it for our underrated GOATs. Now, for last but certainly not least is Goku from Dragon Ball Super, the very top of the food chain, the creme de la creme, the cream of the crop. Before we get started with this variant, remember that special guest I was talking about, well, go ahead and introduce yourself.
What's up, guys? Devon back at it again with yet another Devon Explain. What? Oh, it's not my video. Okay, my bad. I'm here to explain to you just how powerful Super Goku is, from Battle of Gods all the way to the Goku Black arc. And then after that, Instinct is gonna take the reins back in. Let's get right into it. No further ado. Starting off with Battle of Gods, there's 3 things of relevance in it. Goku's stronger than he was in the Buu Saga, as is Vegeta. Yet after boxing Beerus, he says not even a fusion would be of any use against Beerus's power in this instance, which he's terribly holding back, and even while holding back, he's still doing extremely weak attacks. Not even attacking Goku, just kind of touching him and annihilating him with his touches. Kind of like back in the day. But like, regardless, Vegeta's fusion multiplier, plus the Rival boost, plus the Super Saiyan transformations would have done nothing according to Goku. Then, Super Saiyan God is able to entertain Beerus and force him to go much harder than the power level that would have stomped Vegito already. And this Vegito is stronger than the Buu Saga Vegito. During the actual Battle of Gods happens one of the most debated, one of the most repeated, one of the most known feats in fiction. Goku and Beerus threatening to destroy the Dragon Ball universe. Now, this macrocosm contains multiple dimensions, among them the infinite living world, the demon realm, which is the other side of the coin for the living world, meaning that it is also infinite, and most importantly, the other world, that is completely separate from the living world to the most metaphysical level and transcends it and dimensions beyond it. Given that the living world is its own timeline and is infinite, that would make it an infinite 4th dimensional structure, and thus the afterlife would be at the barest minimum 6th dimensional, if not higher, due to transcending dimensions beyond even this 4th dimensional living world. And then the macrocosm as a whole houses all of this and is its own timeline containing all these dimensions and realms. Basically, it is a hyper timeline of 7th to 8th dimensional size. And if you don't agree with the scan that I'm using to say that the other world is 6D, that's cool. Otherworld 5D, macrocosm 6th dimensional, and Goku and Beerus were threatening to completely annihilate all of that within a few clashes, and neither of these guys were going all out just yet. Obviously, the attack potency of this feat is extremely evident, but the key shockwaves of these two guys were reaching through infinite spaces, through different separate timelines, which are infinite and immeasurable speed feats undeniably. And again, this wasn't some overtime thing. This isn't them having extremely low and immeasurable speed or extremely low and infinite speed. They were going to destroy the macrocosm within a few seconds, a few strikes. God key at the minimum 6th dimensional, and at the max 8th dimensional. Even though all the true Dragon Ball fans know that Goku solos everybody and everything ever. Goku then absorbs this infinite power into baseline, stacks Super Saiyan on top of it, and then surpasses even that godly Super Saiyan by one-shotting a sphere of Beerus' power that had been pressing him prior, just to show you how fast Goku grows in Super. So just to recap a little bit, the God Forms multiplier is bigger than a Potara fusion, a Rival boost, and Super Saiyan 3 combined. The Battle of Gods main feat is 6th to 8th dimensional with immeasurable speed, and by the end of the arc, Goku in base is 500 times stronger than that feat, and then the baseline of God Ki. The next two sagas combined have two main important things. Goku develops Super Saiyan God even further, fusing it fully with his basic Super Saiyan to create Super Saiyan Blue, which would multiply this beyond fusion multiplier by 50 times. He uses this to fight Frieza and does pretty well against a guy who's gotten literally infinite buffs from merely 4 months of training. The Universe 6 saga shows us that Goku can enhance Blue by 10 times with Kaioken, and with this level of power, he can overpower Hit's time skip ability. This is stated by Kenkai in the anime to be him forcing himself forward in time through sheer power. Later on, it's also stated that Hit's time skipping technique makes a parallel world with stored time after skipping, and thus he can go into that and not be touched. So Goku's also just forcing himself into that parallel world and or breaking it. In the manga, it's more so just Hit's abilities not working against people far above him, which the anime does kind of just show us. What Goku's doing here is not some hack, it's him powering up to where his raw statistics, speed included, simply overpower their time skip ability. I personally, unlike many people, can see how this feat is immeasurable speed, but not because he's traveling forward in time. That's debatable whether it even is measurable speed. What Goku's doing here is forcing himself into a parallel world that has its own time, so traversing between timelines essentially. Speed beyond measurement, and beyond question that it is. And now to the Black Saga. Here there's a lot of boxing, a lot of yelling and screaming, getting stronger and such. But unlike the prior two arcs, Goku doesn't get an interesting feat that I get to yap about. But with the Rage buff, Goku can annihilate Black and Zamasu at once, with the same Black being vastly stronger than he and Vegeta throughout the arc, showing you that if you make Goku angry, he will just get dozens of times stronger with a yell. During episode 64 of the anime, Vegeta surpasses Goku Black for the final time, and Black then proceeds to ratio by figuring out how Saiyans keep getting stronger, which is through Rage. He then uses his Divine Rage to summon a scythe that can cut through the fabric of reality, or through time, or through parallel worlds, or manifest his wrath physically. We don't know what it does, but it does do something impressive. Goku himself could backscale from this ambiguous feat, if not surpass it, with the usage of Kaioken. And I say this through feats, because this rage-amped Black fuses with Zamasu to create merged Zama, someone who's gotten a fusion multiplier over that incredible power, yet Goku and Vegeta together can clash with Zamas and take attacks from him and fight, and then Goku, when using Kaioken, can even press Zamas a little bit. Now, Goku's still significantly weaker, and Zamas, when actually trying, does kinda just wash Goku. But Goku, when using Kaioken, can still do something, and thus he'd probably scale to that side feat. There's also the fact that Zamas may have gotten infinitely stronger, which means that Goku can just passively get infinite buffs, which ooh, that's a bit rough. It's a bit rough. To wrap up my edition, Super Saiyan God is stated to have been created to surpass everything, which should include all Dragon Ball media until then. Same way that Beerus was the greatest enemy ever flat out. Somewhat consistent with Super Vegito being stated relative to, if not surpassing, Super Saiyan 4, with God Goku transcending Super Vegito. This is also just consistent with the feats. Destroying the living world, affecting dimensions outside it, shaking hell, and threatening the afterlife have all been done before, but no one has threatened the entire macrocosm and beyond it to the Kaio realm like God Goku has. Not Broly, not Omega Shenron with that minus energy ball, and not Goku turning into Super Saiyan 3 in the Fusion Reborn movie. No one has ever threatened the entire macrocosm at once and gone beyond it. And even if they did, congratulations, we can push Battle of Gods Goku is 500 times stronger than they are in base. Do not fuck with Super Goku.
Thanks to Devin's top tier explanation, you can all see where this is going. The Tournament of Power is where all crazy shit happens. As there are more power-ups in this arc, there's a statement of Kefla could one-shot an entire macrocosm, and there's feats of Jiren, Toppo, and Goku and others affecting the world of Void, which say to be infinite nothingness without time or space at all. The Grand Peace also added time, but it's only limited to godly tax, and Goku gets so many increases even while being stamina drained, and Jiren has statements of transcending time itself via battling Hit and overpowering his time abilities. And Master Ultra Instinct Goku literally beat Jiren at his max. The only reason Goku lost was because he never mastered the form. And like Devin previously said about Infinite Zamasu, Jiren in his suppressed state is said to be the power nobody has ever felt before. And he even has statements of him being stronger than God's Destruction. And Vegeta Blue in a Black arc is comparable to them, and somehow Goku is stronger than that by the end of the Tournament of Power. Heck, even when he first fought June, he was actually stronger, so there's that. Now onto the Broly movie, there's a feat as to where Super Gogeta and Super Saiyan Broly both perform, as said to be a trans-dimensional / super dimensional, which are both said to be a higher dimensional, as this adds more consistency for Goku and Code to be at the very least of bare minimums to be 60 and much higher. Since me and Devin both went over there's infinite increases within the series, this gets into the several layers of infinite 60 plus layers of power. And in the Moral arc, Goku is now able to control his Master Ultra Instinct form. And in the Granola arc, he gets strong within the arc as well. He also has a new form called True Ultra Instinct, which looks almost exactly the same as his Omen state. As True Ultra Instinct isn't exactly focused like MUI was as when Goku used MUI against Granola. He was nerfed since he couldn't focus at all. And TUI lets you think while using that form. And at the end of the superhero movie, Goku fought Beast going and well, everyone fought out in a brawl. That's the end of part 1 of Goku scaling. Subscribe to not only my channel, but Devin as well, as in the link will be in the description box below. Make sure this video gets to 100 likes. Every time you guys do, I will be posting 1 or 2 shorts. Enjoy.